haven't been consistently at the level where they were last year, and that's huge. And we need those guys to be super impactful on the ball.
Sometimes do you think a case of they had a little success last year and then just waiting for a playoffs or something like that? Or
certainly you could make that conclusion, but it's got to be more consistent every single night. So I don't know where that mindset comes from, but it's certainly part of our growth in our maturity. It just needs to be more consistent on what we do every day. So.
A lot of the things you guys do well are kind of hard to do sometimes, like with the ball pressure and whatnot. But it seems like when the early success comes with that in the game, then it can kind of carry forward. What's the key to doing it, even against the teams that maybe make it a little harder?
Yeah, I think obviously teams that play fast, it's hard for us to establish a really good up-court point of attack, which we've been really good at. I think last year, our bigs were actually pretty good at pressuring the ball on the perimeter too. Nas, his pressure ball containment was way better than it's been for a lot of the season. So I just in general, slowing the ball down is huge for us. Just getting back and kind of, when we've been good in the transition game, we've been good in the half court largely. That's one. Again, I just think physicality. We haven't had enough physicality on the ball. So, I think when you think about things that are hard to do, it is hard to pressure, but we have the guys to do it. We have the depth of numbers to do it. But it's one of those things that it's kind of a little counterintuitive. The more you dictate physicality, the easier it actually becomes. So.
What does it mean to open up your foot or drop your foot?
Yeah, normally you kind of go this way, right? We've been going this way. Okay. So, one is a highway to the rim. The other one's kind of, keeps them going east-west. So. Come to the summer basketball camp.
If I get an invite, I'll be glad to come.
I'm open to all youth camps all the time. You're always invited to the youth camp.
I might not be in town.
And had an and one in transition in the Indiana game where the defense was kind of back, but he just took on a second.
Yeah.
How much, if he does more of that, how much would that open up for you guys just as a team on it?
A lot. We've been on him to kind of read the situation in the broken floor. He's been better, I think, since January of getting out and playing in the transition game, and that's been big for him, particularly with all the different half-court defenses that he's faced, and punching those gaps, seemingly kind of finishing. Even though his finishing's not been where it has been in previous years, but those are the ones that it feels like he draws fouls a lot and he can finish a little cleaner because there's a little bit more space. We've been on him a lot, but he's got so much confidence in his pull-up three. He's shooting at 43%, so it's hard to argue, but there's been times in the last couple of weeks in particular in my mind, he's had guys on an island that he should go at and kind of let him off the hook, you're not gonna, you're not gonna always get it right, but he's done a better job, I'd say, since January for sure.
How much of that is just him being kind of a younger player in the league versus overconfidence in the three, or how much of that balance is kind of related to his age?
I think certainly some of it. He's still his fifth year in the league though, so he's got plenty of reps, to get better and better at it. I think sometimes with him, he predetermines what he wants to do, and that comes from an incredible confidence in his ability to get to certain things. We've always been on everybody in our organization to make the right play, and he hears it probably more than anybody else, and oftentimes that's equated to passing, but it might be equated to shooting or driving, and it might be equated to, last time you came down the floor, you had the same situation, but perhaps a different defender. So there's a lot of nuance to it, and so he's got to kind of, I think, continue to compute all those things, and he's doing a better and better job. He always has incredible recognition after the fact. It's just now he's got to get, have his antenna up, and that's all part of like, how do I control the game at every point in time? So I don't, it's hard to ask any 23-year-old to be at that place,
How much have you noticed the growth, like from his rookie season to now? Is it just kind of like
it's-
night and day,
Yeah,
or
it's
is he still
immense.
got?
Yeah, huge. I mean, it's his rookie season was, he's just kind of trying to figure it out, like both sides of the ball. Just he wanted to be a scorer. He is a scorer. He's always had the ball in his hands, and when he first started playing, he came off the bench and had limited opportunities to probably play the game the way he wanted to. And just was a series of like trial and error, So
The last time you played Phoenix, you had that meeting with the team where you said, hey, we got to focus on winning, minutes,
Yeah.
points, all kind of shot attempts have to kind of go out the window
Yeah.
for everybody. Since then, and over the last couple of weeks, just how has the team been at keeping that message in mind?
Well, we've had that conversation a few more times since then, particularly in the last couple of weeks. We just got to get back playing pure basketball and playing a lot harder than we had been at times. So, and everything will work out like it did in our 8-game win streak. I mean, we're still 9-3 since that moment. So, but 9-3 in the West, and it's you're losing ground. So,
It seems like the offense runs the way you want it to when
Yeah.
when it seems like maybe there are like matchup advantages that you guys can kind of look
Yeah.
at. When there are teams that maybe are just like more physical defensively, like you guys often are, and stand you up. How do you keep getting the movement and everything that you want? in
Yeah,
those matchups?
good question. It's then you have to play a little bit faster, and you got to play with a lot more cutting to open up some drives and stuff like that. And I think if you're going to switch, then obviously you can try to figure out where the mismatches might be if they're switching a lot. But yeah, then it becomes a lot more of a movement game for us, which we've been pretty good at, at times, particularly certain lineups in that regard. And then, we got to finish. Like a lot of times we get to those type of situations. We haven't finished very well around the rim when we've gotten clear advantages to do so.